Hello, my dear children of 10th standard. Now, in this video, we are going to start a chapter from your first flight. The name of the chapter is chapter number 10, The Sermon at Benares. Now, the title, The Sermon at Benares. The meaning of sermon is to give religious lecture. And Benares. Benares is a town in UP and it is located in the bank of river Ganga. So, it is also known as Holy City. Now, in this chapter, we will study the sermon, the religious lecture Gautam Buddha had given in Benares. Gautam Buddha, the founder of Buddhism religion. The sermon at Benares is originally written by Betty Renshaw, which talks about the life of Gautam Buddha. If we talk about Betty Renshaw, so Betty Renshaw was an American writer. She was born on 2nd October 1921 in Renshaw family and she died on April 30, 1999 at the age of 77. Now, the book Values and Voices. A College Reader 1975 is a collection of work by Betty Renshaw. And this part is taken from her collection, the book The Values and Voices, A College Reader 1975. Now, Gautam Buddha was born as a prince. He was named Siddharth Gautam. If we talk about Gautam Buddha, so Gautama Buddha is the founder of the religion Buddhism. He was a spiritual teacher who had gained enlightenment after seeing the world's pains and greed. Buddha preached that human life is very short and it is full of sorrows and pains. He cleared that our brief life is full of troubles and pains. Everyone on this earth has to one day meet with death. And the first sermon, the religious lecture which he gave in Benares, that talks about a lady, a woman named Kissa Gautami. Yes, Sermon at Benares is the story of an unfortunate woman, Kissa Gautami. She had lost her only child. In her grief, she carried the dead body of her son from one place to another. In the end, she came to Lord Buddha. She needed the medicine that could cure her son. The Buddha asked her to bring him a handful of mustard seed from a house where no one had lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. Kissa Gautami didn't find a house where some beloved one had not died in it. She thought to herself that it was the fate of mankind. Death was inevitable. Nobody can avoid dying. The world is afflicted with death and decay. The wise don't grieve. He who has overcome all soon will become free from sorrow and be blessed. So now let us begin the chapter, the sermon at Benares. Gautam Buddha was born as a prince. He was named Siddharth Gautam. At the age of 10, he was sent away for schooling. he studied Hindu sacred scripture. Now, sacred scripture means holy books. He was married to a princess at the age of 16. He had a son. 10 years of his married life were spent in royal luxuries. At the age of 25, he chanced upon a sick man, then an aged man, and then a funeral procession. Finally, he saw a monk begging for alms, begging for money or food. These sights moved him. He gave up the luxuries of the royal life. He set out in search of enlightenment. After wandering for 7 years, finally he meditated under a fig tree, peepal tree. Enlightened after 7 days, he renamed the tree as the Bodhi tree. It was the tree of wisdom. He became known as the Buddha, the awakened or the enlightened one who came to know as about truth. The Buddha preached his first sermon at Benares, the holy city on the Ganga. Now, what religious lecture he gave, that story will begin now. So, once Kissa Gautami's only son had died, she was deeply grieved. She carried her dead son to all her neighbors. She asked them for medicine. The people thought that she had lost her senses. At last, a man advised her to go to Sakyamuni, the Buddha. She went him and requested to him some medicine that could cure her son. The Buddha asked her to bring a handful of mustard seeds from a house where no one had lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. Kissa Gautami went from one house to the other. There was no problem in getting a handful of mustard seeds, but she could not find a house where no one had died. Then she realized the fate of man, life reality of man. She realized that she was selfish in her grief. Death is common to all. The Buddha said that the life of mortals, those bound to die in this world, is troubled and brief. It is full of grief. As ripe fruits fall, so do mortals. Those who are born are always in danger of death. All pots are to be broken. So is the life of mortals. All are subject to death. This world is afflicted. This world is afflicted with death and decay. Is affected with death and decay. The wise don't grieve. Weeping and grieving will not help. The dead are not saved by lamentation, by expression of sorrow. By doing sorrow also, the dead man are not saved. So he who seeks peace must be free from lamentation, from sorrow and complaint and grief. He who has overcome all sorrows will be free from sorrow. He will be blessed. So, this was the story, or we can say the religious lecture which Gautam Buddha had given at Benares. So, now read the chapter and watch the video. Thank you.